Hello and welcome to DFS Coach Talk. Today is Sunday, March the 5th, 2023. I am Joe Sarvati, affectionately known as Coach, and I am here to go over a very enticing 7-game NBA main slate that starts at 6 p.m. Eastern this evening. Hope everyone's doing well this weekend, enjoying their Sunday, and just got done watching a really great game. Phoenix Suns, Dallas Mavericks. It was a very rough loss for the Mavs, but fantastic game from beginning to end. Hopefully a preview of something down the road in the playoffs. That would be fantastic. I want to welcome everybody for joining us today. We have a nice group starting off the podcast, and hopefully we get some more people drifting in as we go. It's been a very good week. We've had a lot of success here at Coach Talk, and as usual, Josh Crash Davis carrying the Coach Talk banner all week, doing a fantastic job, and of course at D Lux, Miss Deb Lutz always does a fantastic job. She had some great cash lineups this week on her podcasts, and it's been a good one. So I'm looking forward to sharing these 7 games with you, going over quite a few things, and hopefully we get a lot of our members joining in here as well. Also, we have the last day of our March Madness special. You're able to try out DFS Coach Talk for 1 full week for free. All you have to do is go to Twitter at DFS Coach Talk. You can see that posted right here on the screen in the thumbnail. And then just DM us. Say you want that 1 week March Madness free week. And we will shoot you a Discord invite, and you'll be in there for our lineups this evening. And if you're new to Coach Talk, or you haven't been a member in the past, we give out a core build for DraftKings. We give out full lineups for FANDUEL and YAHOO. And I know some people say, well, you know what, they're against buying lineups, or, you know, we don't need full lineups. We need, you know what, this is the way we look at it. What we do at Coach Talk is we meticulously hand build our lineups. We don't just dump in things into an optimizer and spit out the results to you. We hand build them. We look at all kinds of different aspects when we're building, including optimizers. And we're going to give you what our best shot is at these lineups. And some of our members play the full lineups, and they do great. Some like to take them, pivot 1 or 2 guys, and we've seen some really good takedowns that way as well. So there's a lot of different ways you can utilize our Coach Talk information. Also, you know, fairly exclusively here, we give out NBA player projections for all FanDuel, DraftKings, and YAHOO. We play a lot of YAHOO here at Coach Talk as well. And that all comes with your membership. Everything is in Discord in our main chat. And as our members will tell you, they can make some comments here as well. You know, we've got everything popping up there, people's lineups, different aspects of what people are looking at. Updated player news through Underdog. Big shout out to Underdog out there. And then again, these player projections, very important, especially, you know, depending on what you're playing. If you're playing in some of these GPPs, you don't want dead chalk. You want to, you know, have a couple of different options at those lineups. So I think you'll enjoy it. We have a great team here at Coach Talk, and we certainly would welcome you to join us anytime. We're also going to give away a couple of tickets today. We'll give away a DraftKings and a FanDuel. And if we get over 50 concurrent viewers and get some good likes in there, we can also give a ticket away for YAHOO. So if you jump in, let us know you're in here. Give us a little comment in chat so we can all communicate here and give each other updated information. If any news breaks, feel free to post it there in chat as well. I think that's the main stuff that I wanted to go over. It's going to be a busy week again here. I mean, as we start to get to the last 15, 18 games in the NBA regular season, or 20 right in there, things will start to get very interesting. You know, the teams that are tanking will continue to tank, and we have to watch that closely. And then obviously all these teams now that are getting settled in after all the trades and moves that took place during the All-Star break. So we're on top of it. We also supply NASCAR and, of course, Major League Baseball. Crash has been posting some spring training lineups that have done very well. We're getting geared up for baseball. We also supply for PGA and MMA, which really good card on MMA last night. So we would love to have you. Let your friends, family know. Just go to @DFS Coach Talk. That free week comes off the board today. So today is the last day to take advantage of that. So please jump on there. All right, let's take a real quick look. I see a lot of activity already in chat. So I'd love to see that. My man, Double D, David Dulac, first one in chat today. David, thank you, sir. Thank you for your kind comments. I think you're a legend as well, my man. No question about it. Pain Blank SM, also known as Dead Presidents. Welcome to the chat and the podcast today. King of all trades. Great to have you back in Discord with us, my friend. Awesome to have you in there. Jones and Barnes smash spot. So we have some people jumping on some people right off the bat here. So we'll talk about those as we get through. There's definitely some really good matchups DFS-wise for tonight's game. Aloysius5, how are you, my friend? Love to have you in here with us. And I'll be DMing you later too, Aloysius, so that we get you all squared away. But thanks for joining us. Doug L, which he actually joined our Discord as Doug W. Now that is cool. I call you Doug W for a reason, because you're such a winner, and I love that you're in there. My man Earl Pip Tyson, we call him Mike, and we know he's in here for a big roundhouse winner. Damo, good to see you. Yo to you too, my friend. I know you've been in here a few times, but great to see you back. And let's see, lots of chatter in here. Mike Tyson wants to know favorite center on FanDuel. I'll make sure to do that. Let's see, 2 brains, David. Yeah, I don't know about that, my friend. I've been told it's about half to 3/4 of a brain. And I've gotten that from reliable sources. So I appreciate it, though. What else do we have here? Just lots of chatter between our folks in here. Don't forget, just a quick hello or what's up, because when I hit the randomizer, I do it with the live chat because I like to encourage people getting involved and commenting and giving us updates. And this is an interactive show, we call it brain surgery of DFS, because we're trying to get in there, figure everything out for the games this evening. Couple other things, quick hello. I think Coach Mom's watching in today. Hello, Coach Mom. Also, Katie, how are you, Katie? And anybody else, any good friends, family watching? We're calling in everybody today to check it out. So, all right, we are going to go game by game. We're going to talk about ownership. We're going to talk about depth, rotation, pace, defensive efficiency, who's on a back-to-back. What are those Vegas totals as far as the lines to make sure we don't run into any blowouts? And also we want to look at those over-under totals. And don't underestimate those over-under totals in Vegas. Yes, Vegas misses on some of those, but generally they're pretty darn close. And every single possession based on that pace and the defensive efficiency is going to create a situation where there are more DFS points available. A shot, a rebound, an assist, all of those take place, in a bucket a lot of times in one possession. And as we know, that's 6, 7, 8 DFS total points right there. So you increase possessions against especially a lesser defensive efficient team, you're going to have the propensity to maximize and get an optimal lineup. So that's what we're trying to uncover here for sure. Let's see. Oh, David Dulac says, Coach Mom, miss you. So even David says hello. And we will talk about thoughts on Bassey when we get to San Antonio. The Spurs are always brutally tough, even when they're not on back-to-backs like they are here. So we'll discuss that when we get there too. Please continue to put comments in here. Yeah, Devontae Graham, we had him 100% yesterday. He really came through. He's playing some really good ball for the Spurs. So hopefully we'll get there. Hello to CMO 614. Thanks for joining in to check us out. All right, how about we dive into these games? No messing around here. We've got a busy Sunday. Don't forget, it's a 6 p.m. Eastern start for lock on the Sunday night slate as usual. A little bit different twist, though. Yahoo is 1 hour later, and they have 2 less games. So DraftKings and FanDuel locks at 6 Eastern, and then Yahoo at 7 Eastern with 5 games rather than 7. But we're going to go over all 3. We're going to look at the tendencies here and trends. So again, hopefully everybody got a chance to catch that fantastic Suns Mavericks game. The outcome was a little hard to swallow, but man, I'll tell you, KD is he's one of the greatest of all times. I mean, so cold-blooded to knock down that jumper against good defense and then hit the 2 free throws. Hats off, man. And like I told Deb, now that they have KD, there's no question to me the NBA championship goes through Phoenix. I know Crash would argue it's Milwaukee. I know some of our Celtics fans would argue about that as well. But, man, I just think Phoenix, as they get more and more used to playing together, are going to be really, really tough to beat. So we will see how that all looks. All right, let's check a couple of things, and then we're going to start game by game here, and then we'll also give a ticket away. We're about halfway to our number to add that extra ticket, so hopefully we have some more people drift in here as we go. Let me see if there's any last-second player news now. And again, we're going to be watching this very closely all the way up until lock. And as we know, recently there's been a ton of changes in that last even 10, 15 minutes. So you have to stay connected. You have to keep an eye in Discord. Let us do all that work for you. We have in our Discord for members, if you click on NBA News, it's the feed right directly to Underdog, which again does a fantastic job to give updates, and that really definitely makes a big difference. I see updated Draymond Green headed to the locker room undergoing an x-ray on his finger. So if you had Draymond, which we did not, luckily, in that early set, that is not good news for you in any way. But we avoided him, and hopefully you did too. Gary Harris ruled out for Orlando, and really not a whole lot of other news breaking just at this minute. Oh, here we go. Spurs players available for Sunday: Graham, Branham, Johnson, Bates-Diop, Bassey, the aforementioned Bassey, Wesley, Vassell, Barlow, Champagne, and then he's back. I didn't think I'd have to pronounce this damn guy's name. Crash needs to be on here. I just call him Sandru Mamu because I can't say it, and I'm not even going to try. And then Gorgie Jang. So it definitely is a step up for Bassey and Mamu without the big fella in there for San Antonio. So we'll talk about that when we get to that game, but that was something that just dropped. And like I say, please give us any updates here. We'd really appreciate that. All right, now let me see what we've got. Game 1, let's dive in. It is the Charlotte Hornets, 20-45 against the Brooklyn Nets, 35-28. This game's getting a lot of attention because we know Brooklyn's starting to put it together. Charlotte's without LaMelo, so there's been some extra ownership there. As far as injuries, PJ Washington is expected to play, so he's back. No Cody Martin for Charlotte. Watanabe is questionable for Brooklyn, and Ben Simmons and Edmund Sumner out for the Nets. As far as the line in this game, we've got Brooklyn favored by 8, which is pretty impressive for Brooklyn to be favored by 8. But they are starting to put a nice young unit together there, and they got 1 million draft picks to go with them. It's a 227 total, so nothing to jump out of your seat about. But there's a bunch of them, 227, 226, 228, 229. So there's a whole bunch jammed in. I don't think you're going to see the total be a big effect on a game here in either direction, super positive or super negative. I think that you can feel pretty comfortable going to most teams today and not having to force guys in some kind of 245 total game. Really the highest game on the board, and obviously one of interest to me here, is that Jazz Thunder game at 235.5. And then the lowest on the board is 226.5, Knicks and Celtics. So don't let the line that way scare you off of anybody today. And then as far as the favoritism in these games, we have 0 double-digit favorites. So this game here, believe it or not, Brooklyn Nets are the biggest favorite on the board. Who'd think you'd say that after they got rid of all their players? But they are at only 8. So I like that, because the problem is when you get a 212 game, everybody avoids it. So it's like one less game on the slate. If you got that 242 game or whatever, everybody's jamming 3-4 guys in. But here you pretty much have a clean slate. You can play who you want. You can go with what your stats and optimizer and crunching and going through everything is telling you, and not feel like you're missing the boat anywhere. So, all right, game 1, again, Brooklyn -8, 227 total, 109.5 implied for Charlotte, and a really healthy 117.5 for Brooklyn. So that 117.5, even though this is one of the lower, is really the second or third highest on the board for a team total. So having a net or two, I think, are going to be extremely popular without question. As far as pace of play, Charlotte is 5th and Brooklyn is 18th. Again, Charlotte maybe not quite 5th, though, without LaMelo. He certainly pushes pace tremendously. So if they start the lineup we're anticipating, Rozier, Oubre, Hayward, Washington, and Williams, you're definitely slower without Ball in there and going with a bigger lineup. So not the fastest game. I think that's why Vegas has that number. The good side, though, is Charlotte's not strong defensively at 22nd. Brooklyn just right in the middle of the pack at 14th. A little bit of pricing in this game to look at. Rozier at 8K, not a bad price with LaMelo out. That hasn't completely adjusted. Same thing for Oubre at 6'9", Hayward at 6'6", PJ Washington 6'6", and Mark Williams 6'3". So you can get a lower end medium price guy, or multiple guys from Charlotte if you want to go that direction. Mikal Bridges now up to 7'9" on DraftKings, even higher, I believe, on FanDuel. 7'1" for Dinwiddie, but you're still getting the bargain basement on Cameron Johnson at only 5'6". And then Claxton underpriced at 6'3". I think that's going to affect his ownership a lot on DraftKings. But again, site specific, if you're playing DraftKings, FanDuel, and Yahoo, there's a lot of variance in pricing and a lot of different builds. In putting some of these lineups together ahead of time, I found myself with, a good 4 or 5 guys different in some of these lineups. It's not just one of those scenarios where you can take a guy, plug him in every lineup everywhere. It's, I don't believe we have any, $4,000 guys that are just complete no-brainers. And same thing on the expensive side. Like, you can't be without Giannis today or anything like that. So it gives you a lot of variance in your builds. I think, what I'm doing at this point is more of a medium build. I think that has been very successful for us here at Coach Talk of late, being able to put these lineups together and not have to, pray that somebody gets you 15, 20 points, which really kills a lineup. It's so competitive, you can't afford to miss on anybody, even if it's a value guy, unless you're really able to jam in a couple of the 65, 70 point performers. So we're going to touch on a lot of guys we're like here, look at some of these medium build capabilities, and then go from there. Let's see. Let's dive into ownership since we're right here on this first game, because it does affect, as we're talking about these games throughout the slate. And I want to give you an updated numbers. Now, I will say this on DraftKings, and this is why I'm bringing it up now. Tyus Jones is mispriced at $3,100. DraftKings was too lazy to adjust it. With the Ja Morant news, you got to sort of anticipate that. That came out yesterday. Tyus Jones should not be $3,100 on DraftKings. You have to own them in 100% of your lineups, cash, GPPs, whatever you're playing. DraftKings, Tyus Jones, free square. Not that way on either FanDuel or Yahoo. He's actually way more expensive on those. So that, again, site specific. Charles Bassey, excuse me, is $3,900. He is the second highest owned right now on DraftKings. We had a question in chat about him. Is he a good play? I think he's a solid play. I really do. However, he's not a smash play for me. And the reason is they picked up Mamu, and he's getting minutes right away. And I do think Bassey and Mamu will split some time there. I'm not saying to not roster Bassey. I think he's a good play. I don't think he's just an automatic play like Tyus. So he'll be in some of my lineups and not in others. For those that don't realize they picked up Mamu, or they're thinking just because the starting center for the Spurs is out, that Collins, that Bassey's just going to get 38 minutes or 35 minutes. That's not going to happen. And that's not what Pop does. And it's second night of a back-to-back. So, we've got to keep that freshly in mind. So, all right, let's keep going on the ownership. Claxton at 6,300. Again, mispriced, good play. Triple J, 7,700. My favorite play on the board. He is my lock and load. He's my thumbnail guy. I just think Triple J, perfect spot. No jaw, bunch of usage opens up. They lose Brandon Clark to a torn ACL, even more minutes. Again, your risk with Triple J is always the same. Can the dude stay out of foul trouble? He's done much better this season, knock on wood, than he has in past seasons. So I'm expecting a really strong performance. He is chalky. There's no question. I mean, he's over 25%. So you're going to have to eat some chalk there, as our man boy from Cali will tell you. And sometimes it's definitely worth it. Kelly Oubre Jr., 6,900, a good price. Always one of the guys I like to focus on when they're shorthanded with LaMelo out. Definitely, Oubre is the kind of guy that can bring down a slate. And, he's 24% owned. If he does throw 55, 60 burger up there, which he's capable of in a game like this with a good pace, we've got to keep him in strong consideration. Cole Anthony continues to get massive ownership. I don't know if the touts just keep calling him out. He's coming off the bench. He's averaging 27 to 28 minutes over the last 4 or 5 games off the bench. You know me, though. I'm not big on splitting minutes. I get that he's only 4,300, but at 24, 25%, not a spot I'm going to go. Chris Stapps at 8,900. Tari Eason, who was phenomenal for us yesterday. Do we go right back to him? He's only 4,400 off the bench, playing terrific. That San Antonio-Houston game is a wild card game. They played yesterday. They're playing again today. They're the 2 worst defenses in the league. So, that is going to be interesting. And Eason is certainly a value play. We go right from the value play to Giannis, grabbing 23%, but he's 12-4 against Washington. And it's also a back-to-back coming off that emotional loss that they had yesterday. which was also a great game. Then we've got Cam Johnson, Desmond Bain, SGA, Jordan Clarkson, and Dame Lillard. So some great plays on DraftKings. On FanDuel, it goes Bassey, Triple J, Clarkson, Tillman, who's starting at center at 5,700. Again, this is for all the guys. Some are going to be earlier games, later games, all over the board. Cam Johnson, Tyus Jones, THT, Matisse Thybulle, Kristaps, Keldon Johnson, Desmond Bain. We've got guys all over the board here. Yahoo, a little bit different. Bassey, only $11. Going to be hard to pass on that. And he's grabbing a whopping 56% ownership projection on Yahoo. Triple J, again, my favorite guy. I had him as my favorite guy in thumbnail yesterday, and I don't know, he's chalky all over the place, but it is what it is. Beal at 31, Walker Kessler at a very reasonable 27, priced down on Yahoo, so great play there. Şengün, Bates Jop, only $11. I don't understand why he's still $11. He's been playing 28, 30 minutes a game for a while now. Then you have Giannis at that big $56 number. And then Porzingis, Westbrook, Eason, Giddey, Wright, Jones, and THT. All right, so that gives you a good snapshot of what's going on right now as far as ownership. That'll give you a little bit of a look there. So let's see what else we've got in here real quickly. Josh Davis is in there talking about, as Deb calls him, Giannis. Let's see. Who else is in there? King of all trade. Everybody's chatting. Davion Cuff, what is up, my man? Great to have you in here with us. JT, Justin Timberlake, has just joined the fray as well. We're gaining on that 50 number. Let's keep it going. Phone, friends, family, pets, get them online here. Let's get another ticket. And speaking of tickets, how about we give the first one away? Same thing if you want to claim the March Madness free 1-week membership. You claim your free ticket going to our Twitter at DFS Coach Talk, as you can see on the screen there, and just say, I want a free ticket, and we will DM you back and send you that PayPal email. If you give us your PayPal email, we'll send that right back to you on PayPal. All right, excuse me. Winner of, I'm going to push the randomizer, take a drink, and we'll announce the first winner. Well, it happens to be one of our favorite guys. He hasn't won in a long time that I can remember. Would you believe it's Double D David Dulac? How nice it is. He gets rewarded for being the first one in chat with a win there. So great stuff, Double D. I love it, man. Just send that over to me, even though I always remember your email, but send it, tweet it over to me, because I can always forget as all the news is coming in prior to lock. Okay, first ticket's out. We're going to go to the next game. It is also a 6 o'clock game, and it's the Portland Trailblazers 29-34 at the Orlando Magic 27-37. Gary Harris, as we mentioned earlier, is out for Orlando. Opens up that starting spot for Jalen Suggs more than likely. Or I think they'll keep using Cole Anthony for bigger minutes off the bench. That's going to get him more popularity. So, yeah, that's going to be a tricky game. You've got a nice total in this game, too. For Portland, Arcidiacono, Baji, Nurkic, Simons, and Winslow are all out. Orlando's favored by 3 here. And let's see what the implied totals are. 116 for Orlando, not bad at all. 113 for Portland. And, this game should stay fairly close based on what Vegas numbers are telling you. You've got Portland on the first night of a back-to-back, and they're trying to scratch into that last spot into the playoffs, which I have tickets for the first round playoffs if Portland can get their stinking butts in there. So I'm hoping they can, if they can't beat Orlando in Orlando as an underdog here, that would be disappointing. But they play tonight and tomorrow, so they'll be rolling out some strong plays here. And Orlando's on an island game. 22nd in pace for Portland, 15th for Orlando. So even though these two teams are not very good, they're not very good defensively, they don't play super fast, which if you said to me, hey, Portland and Orlando, that's an up and down game. It's not. They're below average in pace. So something to just be aware of. Maybe that's why it's a sub 230 total. Still a decent total, but not a runaway. Defensively, Portland's 27th, which is terrible. Orlando's actually improved. They're 16th, so they're almost middle of the pack. And they're just, trying to get Wembanyama in there. Hopefully, Jonathan Isaac, who had another surgery, that poor guy, man, I don't think he's ever going to suit him up. It's just he can't get on the floor. All right, so let's talk about this game a little bit. A lot of different ways you can go here. There's some good, strong plays with Dame, of course, but it costs you the farm at 11-7. He's going to get big minutes. He's going to score, but can you afford the number? I mean, he's got to get you 45 real points to feel good about it. He's point dependent to some extent. He's going to get you some assists, but he's not a big steal, rebound, that kind of stuff. So if you think he's going to drop, a real 50 burger or close to it on Orlando, then you got to dial him up. But it's a tough call, because if he's held to like 38, which is phenomenal for most people, is he going to get there at that 11-7 number? Makes it very tough. You've got some real bonus dollars if you want to go Cam Reddish, 4.4K. He's a good value. He's getting big minutes. That's a tough call. He can get you there, or he can't sink the ship if he has one of his brain hemorrhage games. Same thing with Matisse Thybulle. He's only 4-1, but he's been getting consistently good minutes, mid-30s, etc. for Portland. So either one of those guys, I would never gamble with both of them, but either one of them I think is playable. Grant at 7-1 is always a tough call. And I've given up really on the Eubanks Watford shenanigans. And again, I hate when guys totally split minutes. Eubanks is getting like 26, Watford about 22, and that's just X's them off for me. Eubanks is only 4-1, Watford's only 3-6, but for me, that's a pass. The big decision comes on Orlando, let's face it. I mean, Fultz, who absolutely crushed me the other day, it was horrible. 6-2 is just a little too much for him. Even, with Harris out, I just don't like it. And that's a tough call. So, you've got the opportunity for a Cole Anthony or Jalen Suggs. Again, risk. Are you risk adverse, or are you looking to differentiate? Because that could be a spot to go. Franz Wagner looks like he's in. He was dinged up a little bit, but I think he plays. If you want to pay up for Banchero, probably not going to do it today. He's 7-2, which is a bit pricey, and he gets Jeremy Grant defense, which I really respect. On the other side, center-wise, Wendell Carter, 6'4", it's tempting, but, they do get 12 fouls between Eubanks and Watford. He's not going to get a lot of cheap stuff, but he is dangerous. I mean, he can put a number up there. But Mo Wagner has been getting a lot of time off the bench. He's only 3-4. They do have Bol still, and it creates a little bit of a log jam coming off that bench. So for me, probably one of the guards for Orlando, maybe some value for Portland. So I'm not going to be really heavy on this game. A lot of people, I think, will, because there are some real good value options. But I don't think you want to dig yourself a hole with one or two guys from this game that are going to get you way behind the 8 ball. So interesting two games at 6 o'clock. Again, I'll have some exposure, but they're not going to be stackable games for me. All right, let's see here. I know I'm missing a whole bunch of comments in here. A lot of people talking baseball. Freeman 2-run homer. I love it. Yeah, baseball, so close, man. It is very close around the corner. Let's see. 25 days, Crash says. Wow, that is coming up. Let's see. Emerson's Baby Gap shirt. We call him EBGS. How are you, my friend? Thank you for joining in. As the number continues to grow, don't forget, make a comment in chat so you can get in for that next drawing. Hopefully David Dulac doesn't win all the tickets today, but you never know because he's back in. As long as he's in chat, he's back in the drawing for ticket 2. We're in single digits for getting to that third ticket. That's sort of exciting. So continue to get those pets online. Pets can win as well. My dog Chance is back here. He's watching. All right, how about game 3? Game 3, 7 o'clock. Now, these 5 games are on Yahoo. Obviously, all 5 of these games are also on the FanDuel DraftKings board. 7 o'clock, we have the aforementioned San Antonio Spurs on the second night of a back-to-back, and they're 16-48 and on the road against the same team they played yesterday. So if that doesn't give you an ulcer, a stomach ache, and as my mother would say, agita, which, agita pig, as she used to say. I think that's, pretty much when you have to play pop players on the second night of a back-to-back, it is scary. They're against the Rockets. Spurs 16-48, Rockets 14-49. So this could be a Wembanyama sweepstakes feel to it as well. Houston has no injuries, which is pretty impressive. I mean, their average age now with the guys they have left is super young, and they're not dinged up at all. So it might be decent for the Rockets. It's not really conducive, though, for DFS because now you've got a pretty deep bench that makes you nervous. I mean, they're going to get minutes for these guys. They'll start Porter, Green, Martin, Smith, and Şengün with Eason, Tate, Christopher, Nix, Garuba. We've even seen Boban the last couple games. So, yeah, that's concerning. They're not wanting to win games. They're going about 11 deep. Definitely gives me a little bit of concern. San Antonio, again, second night of a back-to-back. I'm probably going to go back to Devontae Graham because he's not priced right. He's their starting point guard. He's playing well. He's getting close to 30 minutes, which at 4.6 is pretty good. But I'm going to be watching, reading, looking for coach speak, beat writer info, because if I get any indication at all that Graham's going to be pulled back, at 20, 24 minutes, that would really sting. We need that 28 to 30 minutes if I'm going to bring Graham back again today. Looks like Branham's going to play, Keldon Johnson, Keita Bates-Diop, and of course Bassey in there at center at 3.9. Again, one of the more popular, if not the most popular player on the board. But don't go total bonkers because old Sandru Mamu is there now, and he's going to be grabbing a little bit of that. And who the heck knows? Maybe we have a Gorgie Dieng sighting, which would hurt minutes for those guys as well. Don't have the guts to play Mamu, but like I say, I want to mention him because it does just give me a slim look at, concern of Bassey. Not that I'm fading Bassey, but he's not going to be a plug and play, like I mentioned, by any stretch. It is the second night for both of these teams. They played each other yesterday, play again today. 2 super young teams, though, so it shouldn't affect them very much whatsoever. Houston, again, no injuries, but San Antonio, no Kem Birch, Zach Collins, Trey Jones, Romeo Langford, Doug Dermott, and Jeremy Sochan, Crash's favorite player in NBA history, even more so than Giannis. That's what Crash told me. Just kidding. So they are thinner. That helps. That wants me to dangle with going with a couple of Spurs. But again, that tremendous fear of playing too many Spurs with the pop aspect of things, definitely scary. Bates-Diop, super cheap, getting decent minutes. We know Keldon Johnson is always tough when he's in there. And, no Zach Collins, Trey Jones, or SoCan, and those guys are serious usage guys. So, I will have exposure to this game. No question about it. It's a 231.5 total. Houston's only a 4.5 point favorite. So, it looks decent for both sides. A 113.25 implied for the Spurs and a 117.75 for Houston. So I think it's necessary. I really do, to have some exposure here. Spurs play pretty fast. They're 8th. Houston just below middle of the pack at 17th, but they haven't had Porter back very much recently. And to have Porter and Green both in the backcourt, I think they're faster than that. So that's a little bit of an upswing here. Plus, like I said, when do you ever get the worst two defensive efficient teams in the league playing each other? They're 29th and 30th. So should this game be stacked? It probably should. But you've got those issues of concern. Houston playing a lot of guys, and San Antonio, with Pop. So stack, possibly, you've got to have a stomach for it. I could easily see getting two guys from each side here and feeling super comfortable with it. And you can do it dead cheap. If you're going to build stars and scrubs and you want to go with an Eason at 4.4 and maybe, even Şengün at 7.5 is cheap. Jalen Green's all the way down to 6.4. If you remember, he got up into 8K not that long ago when Porter was out. And Porter's a fair 7.4, although he hasn't had a ceiling game in a while. Devontae, there's the 4.6, super cheap. Branham, when he gets minutes, he's 4.8. He does a decent job. We know Keldon Johnson could easily be the top fantasy scorer in this entire game, and he's sub 7K now at 6.8. And then the super cheap Bates Jop at 5.2, Charles Bassey at 3.9. So if you want a way to go after the Julius Randles and Giannis's, maybe it's the value in this game. I'm probably not going to do that. I'm probably going to go with more of a mid-level play here and a value, and have about 3 guys represented from this game. So that's the best way I can describe that one. I think you got to really walk that line on both sides of that coin. All right, quick check back to Discord. And don't forget, guys, I can't watch everything at the same time. So if there are any things posted news-wise, please post it in here, and I will take a look at it. Let's see who else joined us. Absolute Power, you're the man. Absolute Power is due, and I think tonight's the night. Absolute winner tonight, Absolute Power. Hey, we're 3 people away from reaching another ticket, so we're getting there. We are getting there. Let's see. Wendell Carter is out, Josh? Okay. Wow. Let's go read and react to this Josh Davis and David Dulac news. No Wendell Carter. Is that going to make the guy that I think be my starting center tonight? I think it probably is. We're talking about Moritz Wagner from Germany, from the University of Michigan. Is he the play tonight at center? That could be the case. I think that he probably will be for me. He is confirmed. So it's Fultz, Suggs, Wagner, Banchero, and Wagner. Mo Wagner, that is. They have both Wagners, Franz and Mo. So that puts a twist. And I'll probably be plug and play Mo. I mean, the dude is just a 1+ fantasy points per minute guy. He's way too cheap now that he's in that starting lineup. And now that shifts, it goes to show you, man, you got to have your running shoes on in DFS. I may not be medium build now. That could be that extra piece that I needed to buy up to another big guy. And now that I'm going to be able to get Mo in there. So that we'll continue to walk and talk through as we go. Mo's obviously going to shoot up like a firecracker here at 3.4K in ownership. And well, he should. He really should. He's really strong. I don't know if I want to get in the Jalen Suggs or Cole Anthony shenanigans. I think everybody's going to, or Markelle Fultz for that matter. That's just somebody's going to come out with the short stick of those three. And I don't particularly want to have somebody that is going to be in that scenario. Eason is 6'2" on FanDuel, which is ridiculous. But I just that he was gone up so fast price-wise, but he deserves it. I mean, he's been killing it. He absolutely has been killing it. Sean V, man, one of the GOATs in here. I love it. Sean V, how are you, my friend? I always love when you join us. And let's see, I think we're caught up in chat, and definitely adds a little twist to what we've got so far. And I love it. I'm going to update some things, make sure that we try to get some updated ownership. I don't think that will have updated yet with that news on Mo starting at center. Oh, at log, there it is. Okay, let's see. Not just yet, but we will check it here before we head out, because I think you're going to see a big shift. Right now, DraftKings projected ownership on Tyus Jones at that stupid $3,100 mark, 84%. What a joke. Every single person's going to have him. So as a chalk blocker, if you don't know what a chalk blocker is, you just got to take him. Because if he does have a 35-point fantasy day and goes 11x, you got to have him. If he stinks and has an 18, you're okay because everybody else has him. So that's chalk block. You got to do it. Just plug them in on DraftKings. Not on FanDuel and Yahoo, but on DraftKings, yes. All right. Doug W, I'm going to call you, man. Eason or K. Martin at small forward on FanDuel. Tough call. I like Eason better there. I know Martin's in a good game script, but you know, now that they have all that depth back, I just think KJ seems to get screwed out of minutes when they have all their depth back. And he doesn't get the ball as much with Porter back. We've seen a dip in his numbers. So Kate Martin's not on my screen today. Eason is there depending on the site and the price. So that's what I'm looking at. All right, let's go back to the board. The next game, very interesting game here. It's the Utah Jazz, 31-33 at the Oklahoma City Thunder, 29-34. Two teams toiling around that 10th spot in the playoffs to get in there. No Lowry Markkanen. That's the huge news for Utah. And Colin Sexton remains out. So that duo leads to 100% ownership for me. Plug and play Jordan Clarkson. I love him today. I don't see how you pass him. I just don't see how you pass him here. He likes to shoot it. He's going to have to shoot it. He's getting big minutes. The new coach there likes him. He's been playing him, and they're just shorthanded. I mean, it's just process of elimination. I think Clarkson just a no-brainer. Poku's the only guy out for OKC. They've been playing pretty healthy ball as of late. The spread in this game, Oklahoma by 6.5. You've got the #1 total on the board. Again, it's not a runaway, but it is the highest. A nice, healthy 235.5. And then you've got Utah, 114.5 implied, and Oklahoma City with the highest on the whole board. Who'd ever think you'd have the Thunder, the highest implied total? In fact, the only one over 120 on the entire ticket today, they're 121. So makes it fun. You've got Utah, the 9th pace, and Oklahoma City, the 4th. That's why Vegas has it at such a high total. Utah poor defensively at 23. Oklahoma City very reasonable at 12th, but they do have some holes for sure. Is there a chance Oklahoma City blows out this game? I guess it's possible. You certainly, have Utah with a decent amount of guys out. That's for sure. So, you can think about that. But I don't think you can really game script for it. I could see the Thunder winning this game, but I just don't think they totally lay the wood to them. The Thunder have gotten a much better rotation going. Now that SGA is back, it looks like it'll be SGA, Giddey, Dort, and the two Jay Williams boys. The problem is the depth on the negative side for DFS, the positive side for the Thunder. Isaiah Joe, who I love that kid. I just love his guts, but unplayable at 4-7 with SGA back, which is a shame. But he'll get minutes. And then you have Trey Mann, Dario Saric, Aaron Wiggins, JRE. Those guys are still getting minutes for the Thunder. But you can go there. I mean, SGA first game back, just under 10K. You can't get a better game scenario if it stays close enough. It's at home. Is he going to push 35 plus minutes in his first game back? That I don't quite trust. And, paying 10K for somebody that may only get 30 minutes, even though SGA could murder it in that time frame, makes me a little squeamish. Giddey, to me, unplayable now at 8-1 with SGA back. He needs to go back down by like 7K like he was. Lou Dort, we've talked about it before. When SGA plays, his usage numbers and peripherals go down. And so I'm not going to play him at 5-9. We're back to the two Jay Williams guys, just to mess with my brain. The JALEN Williams is 7K and is playing just fantastic basketball. I mean, what a surprise that guy is. I think maybe the biggest surprise of the league this year, literally. Playable at 7K, but a little hard to stomach because you just never know when SGA is going to spend 8 minutes taking every shot and doing everything. But is he going to get enough minutes to play him, or is it going to take away from some of these other guys? I'll tell you who's was on my radar more so earlier before the Mo Wagner news. It was Jalen Williams with a Y, the big guy who's getting consistent minutes. They traded Muscala away because they want to open the time up for this guy. And he's a nice player, and he's still sub 4K, even though he's getting minutes. He's only 3.8K. So definitely want some exposure there. And, either the monster SGA buy-up or looking at the two Williams boys. I know Crash played both Williams boys the other day, and that lineup cashed. So it can be done without question. Where I'm going to have more exposure today, though, is on the Utah side. Jordan Clarkson in every lineup at 7-3. I hate Taylor Horton Tucker personally, but if you're ever going to play him, today's probably the day to play him because they're shorthanded. He is 6'5", though, which is really tough to pull the trigger on that number. You can get a better price on FanDuel, Yahoo, possible look there. Agbaji just hasn't done enough to risk it. Olynyk is like, flip a coin, man. He sometimes has great games, sometimes he just gets to 5X, and sometimes busts. But he's 5'8". The guy that I like the best here, and I'm a little perplexed now that I'm going to be playing Mo Wagner, I really like Walker Kessler today. 6'8" is too cheap for him. A sub-K Walker Kessler, he's averaging a double-double. He could throw a 20-15 game on the board. So I'm very interested in him today without question. I just have to figure out how I can make it fit. Certainly much easier on DraftKings and Yahoo, where you can go with multiple bigs. So a good game, certainly need exposure here. It won't be an all-in stack. I'm not going to be like that big stack on any game. In fact, in my builds prior to here, there wasn't a team that I had more than 2 guys on. So I'm not even going to have a 3-man stack anywhere, even in these games that are real conducive to ownership. But I think you do have to have some exposure here. This is just a perfect game scenario. I respect Vegas's number here, and I think it's really solid all the way around. All right, let's look at the other 7 o'clock, or let's see, what game do we have? A 7:30 game. I'm sorry, it's the Knicks and Boston. Knicks and Boston. A lot of people will be watching this one. Let's see, did we get any news on Jalen Brunson yet? Let's see here. I do not see news on Jalen Brunson, and that's going to shift this whole entire game. That's why you've got to watch you got to follow this all the way through, because if he's in or out is going to definitely shift some things in this game. Right now, for me, I love Julius Randle today. I think this is a Julius Randle day. There's no Robert Williams, who is definitely by far the best interior defender for Boston. I'm not sure what combination. I see a projection on RotoWire, at least, of Muscala at center, but we'll see. Is it going to be Grant Williams? What's going to happen there? We'll see. But I just think with Horford, he's older. Yes, he's a plus defender, but not really anymore. Muscala, not a plus defender. Williams, undersized. I just think Julius Randle, 100% smash with no Brunson, because he's going to take every big shot. But I still like him even if Brunson's in. And I almost hope Brunson gets in, because I think that'll keep Randle's ownership lower. And people are terrified to play guys against Boston. And I get it. I really do get it. Knicks come into this game, by the way, 38-27. Boston is 45-19, playing terrific. Again, Brunson questionable. Brogdon questionable for Boston. Again, update me if the news is broken. Gallinari and Robert Williams out for Boston. The line in this game, Boston's only favored by 6.5. And you've got a 110 implied for the Knicks, 116.5 for Boston. So what changes if Brunson sits? Well, pretty much everything. It makes Randle much more playable. It makes Josh Hart somewhat of a plug and play at only 4.9. That usage has to go somewhere. Is it going to flood to Grimes, Barrett, Quickly, Mitch Robb? Not really. Those guys will get more of a tick up, but it's generally going to go probably to Quickly a little bit. I get that. But I think Hart grabs a bunch of that, and certainly all the big buckets go to Julius. So we need that news. Not going to play Brunson if he's in, by the way. Respect that backcourt defense, especially if Brogdon's in. Smart's going to harass the hell out of him. Brogdon, White, they are all so good defensively. And so not interested in Brunson. But, my concern here is, and this is why I'll be watching it, if Brunson sits, Boston could smack the hell out of the Knicks, and Julius will not get the only time Coach Thibodeau ever sits anybody at all is if it's like a monster blowout. And that gives me a little bit of hesitance, because if Boston's 6.5-point favorite, that tells me Vegas thinks that Brunson plays. If Brunson sits, and I think it's like a 10-point, it's that much of a difference. And I'm not a Mavericks Brunson homer. He's just a badass player, and he makes the Knicks go. And I think that that's something that we have to watch very closely. There is some value in this game, though. Mitch Robb at only 4.9, gotten that center duty back quite a bit. Quickly again at 4.7, just another good play. I play him over Grimes in a second if Brunson was out. On the Celtics side, I like Marcus Smart's price back down to where it should be, 5.6. Love that price. He's got a great chance at making a lot of my lineups today. Not, the old theory, Brown at 8.7 and Tatum at 10.6. Do you want to go up to that number? I don't particularly. And Mike Muscala, if he starts at 3.5, or Grant Williams at 3.4, I just don't think there's 9 million value plays. That's just not somewhere I want to focus today on either one of those spots. So let me check if anybody posts any knowledge in here. Sean V likes Dame. Dame's freaking unbelievable. You can always like Dame. Most competitive guy in the league, I think. Williams is 5K on FanDuel. Yeah, that's a tough number to pass up too. All right, let's take a look at where we go from here. We've got 2 games. Let's see, we got 2 games left, and it's weird tonight. We have a 7:30 game left and a 10 o'clock game. So somehow we're going to have 6 of these 7 games completed. Everybody rested up. No worries. Time to kill. And we got a 10 o'clock Eastern game. So everything's going to come down to that Grizzlies Clippers game at the end. So that should make it for a very interesting, evening. Are you going to be in a position where you're ahead, way behind? What's it going to look like? That is going to be very, very interesting. How are we doing with bodies in here? Oh, we're still not to the number. We're 3 short. So we need a few more people in here to get that extra ticket. So you got to shake somebody up. Get them over here. Let's see. Sean B says Orlando gives up second most threes per game. That's a good point. That definitely sways things a little bit. What else do we have in here? Okay, good. All right, how about we do the game so Crash is happy here. We do the Milwaukee Bucks at the Washington Wizards game. It is a 7:30 game. Milwaukee's 45-18. Washington is 30-33. Milwaukee signed the Dragon, Goran Dragic. He's questionable, but he is signed with Milwaukee. That'll muddy that bench play up a little bit for them, possibly. No Wesley Matthews and Chris Middleton sitting out today. He was awful yesterday, by the way. He is just not right yet. Denny Avdia is questionable. I don't know if he plays or not. I don't trust it. Kuzma is out, which is big news. It affects that game dramatically. And no Monte Morris. By the way, Corey Kispert sucks. Yes, S-U-C-K-S, sucks. Don't play Corey Kispert. I do like DeLon Wright. Now, let me tell you something. He was part of my big night the other night. I loved him going against his old team, Toronto. Chip on his shoulder. He got to play them twice in a row. So is he due for a decline? It's very possible. And he's got a Drew defense. Makes it a little bit tough, but he's still cheap. The coach loves him. He's getting 30-plus minutes, and I think he's still in play. Let's talk about a few things. Both teams on the second night of a back-to-back. That's why you don't have Middleton. That's why you don't have Kuzma. How is Milwaukee going to react to that real emotional game yesterday? That should be interesting. They had to go on the road, play in Washington. Definitely not easy. You've got, but Washington has to face, a back-to-back as well. So we'll see how that rolls. 13th in defense in pace for Milwaukee. So pace up game, but Washington's only 24th. They've played a little bit more controlled ball this year. We're used to just run and gun, Bill shooting a million shots in years past, but they play a totally different game now with Kuzma, who's out, but with Porzingis and Gafford and some of their bigs, much more controlled half-court game, which really eliminates Beal almost off of every card. I don't know if I've played Beal more than once this season, which, he was on my end of the season most drafted guys last year on DK. So big change this year for him. Defensively, though, Milwaukee is third. So Washington has to play that in tough interior defense, man. Now that they have Portis back, he's a dog defensively off the bench. Of course, Giannis, always a defensive player of the year candidate. Brook can still defend. So Porzingis and Gafford makes it a little bit tougher for them, working inside. On the other side, though, Washington's only 19th defensively. So does that open this game up a little bit for Milwaukee? I know Giannis is getting a ton of ownership. It's a big commitment price-wise, but I get it. I mean, if the game stays close, for some reason, it's only a 6-point spread, and that terrifies me because I think Milwaukee's way better than 6 points better than Washington. So, I don't know what that tells you in Vegas, but Vegas seems to want the money on the Bucks here, and that's a little odd to me. So, definite red alert there on that situation. But as far as the implied total in this game, a nice 117 for Milwaukee, 111 for Washington. So what are we going to do here? Drew's a little pricey at 8.6. His counterpart on the other side of the ball, DeLon Wright, is also a good defender. He's sub 5K with, mid-30s minutes possibly. So still a possibility at 4.9. Grayson Allen went out of his marbles. Do not play Grayson Allen. the coach's sucker play of the day. You cannot follow. He's not going to follow that game up from yesterday. So that, to me, is a bad play. Connaughton, probably jumping back in the starting lineup. Now Middleton's going to be out. He's been inconsistent, though, super inconsistent. He's had some great games filling in for Middleton. With Middleton back, though, he had really faded in to the sunset. So don't know if I really want to go there. Giannis is the play. I mean, it is what it is. Now that we have all this value, if this game stays below 10, Giannis is a hard to pass, man. I mean, there's no Luka, there's no AD, there's the other big money dudes just aren't there. So I know Crash is going to be happy, but I am leaning towards Giannis. It's funny because at the beginning of the podcast I was 50-50, but now that we've had a little bit more value continue to open up, I think I just don't want to chase a 70 burger for Giannis. And you know what? What's the worst thing that can happen? He's getting decent ownership. He has a subpar game and gets 62. You still may need the 62. So, if you can make it work, I think you make it work. Lopez, to me, a little too pricey at 6'9". Porta's still too expensive to me at 6'7" off the bench. You're going to get some chipping in from other guys like Ingles, Crowder. We don't know if Dragic is going to be in or out. Probably not play, but still enough that those guys just aren't playable. On the Washington side, you've got more opportunity now with Kuzma out. It changes everything. Gafford's underpriced at 5-1, regardless of the interior defense from the Bucks. We've seen the Bucks recently; they still give up points. They are giving up points, and I know they give up threes, etc., which makes you want to play Beal, but not at 8-2 for me. Kispert, the worst player in the history of the NBA, at 3-2. Don't play him. Kristaps at 8-9. I hate Kristaps, but it's tempting. You'd never want to go Kristaps and Gafford here. One or the other, I think, very playable. DeLon Wright still really makes me want to play him. Avdia, even if he does play, is not healthy, so I'm not going to go there either. So this game's not going to have a lot of exposure for me. It could be a value play on Washington's side, and the big G-man for Milwaukee is probably the way that I'm going to lean in this one. And that's only because there's just so much darn value. All right. How about we give away ticket number 2? And we've dropped a few people. Oh, no. They must be shifting over to one of our competitors. Heartbreaking. We've lost 5 or 6 people. So it looks like we only have one more ticket to give away today, unless we get a surge back from some of those traders that left. If they come back, we still got a great group in here, though. I really appreciate all of you on a Sunday taking time and joining me. So we'll wait to give that second ticket away. Hopefully we can give away 2 if we get a big rush here at the end. PJ Washington is available. I thought he would be. Thank you, Absolute Power, for sharing that. Let's see. Yeah, it was over 50. Boo to them. Oh, did we make it over 50? Did I miss it? Yeah. Maybe we did. I bet you people left to go against with that company that starts with SK. Come on back. Go get them. Tap on their shoulders. We need you back. All right. Well, we'll give 2. We had 56. Okay. So we're going to give the second ticket away now, and then we'll give that third ticket away at the very end. I'm going to click the button, people. The winner of the second ticket is, I'm due, coach, he said. Did that mean you were due for a free ticket? Absolute Power wins the second ticket. So there you go. You were due for winning a ticket and winning a takedown, Absolute Power. Congratulations. Hey, we have a newbie, Dominique Sloan. Welcome, Dominique Sloan. Awesome to have you. Thank you for joining the Coach Talk family. Join us every day. We would love to have you. Great stuff, my friend. Great stuff. Okay. And Dominique, you may win this third ticket we're going to give away at the end. All right, we've got one game left, and it's that long 2.5-hour wait till the Memphis and LA Clippers game, 10 o'clock game. And this one should be entertaining. We've got that horrible Ja Morant news. What in the hell is he thinking? I mean, for real? I don't even want to go there, man. It just makes me sick. Flashing a gun in a club. Ja, for real? One of the future faces of the NBA. Devastating. I hope that he gets his you-know-what together, because he is so much fun to watch, man. I hope he gets, this is a real alarm in his head that goes off and he gets it together. All right. Memphis Grizzlies 38-24 at the LA Clippers 500, 33-33. They have slipped a bit, by no question about it. They need consistency from that lineup. Clippers are favored by 7 in this game. So, one of the bigger spreads. I think Memphis, they're expecting to take a punch in the gut because Ja being out. Again, Tyus Jones, 100% free square everywhere, 3.1 on DraftKings, not on FanDuel and Yahoo, but for sure on DraftKings. You've got a 228 total, 110.5 implied for the Grizz, 117.5 for the Clippers. So you've got some decent numbers there. As far as pace goes, 3rd in the league for Memphis. Probably slower without Ja, though, a little bit, not dramatically, but enough. Clippers play slow like usual, 23rd. Memphis is the top defensive team in the league, and I'm one of the believers that they are as good or better defensively without Ja in there. So that doesn't help the Clippers' cause. Clippers, on the other hand, have fallen all the way to 18th defensively, which seems mind-bending with some of the defenders they have on that squad. Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, 2 first-team all-defensive players, and they have some other guys that can defend as well. But adding Russ Westbrook to the ticket isn't going to help on the defensive side, but I guess they're expecting him to score is the only thing that I can figure. As far as injuries, no Adams, Brooks, or Morant. So 3 starters out for the Grizzlies. How is that going to affect them? Definitely opens up a bunch more value for Memphis. Zubats and Marcus Morris are questionable, and Norman Powell is out. So we'll see how that affects things. As far as the look through here, where does that usage go to? We always see a jump in Desmond Bane. He's at 7.6, which is very fair. Still priced as if Ja was in. Think definitely my second favorite play on the Grizz side. My favorite play on the board today is Jaren Jackson. I think he can dominate. I see big numbers here. He's going to get blocks. He'll get you a steal here and there. I think he's going to be Defensive Player of the Year. So when you add the increased usage as far as scoring the basketball with Ja off the floor, I think Jackson's just a smash. So at least 2 Grizzlies for me, Jones and Jackson. Desmond Bane certainly is very tempting. John Conchar as a starter, if he starts at 3.7, maybe at best. I think Xavier Tillman is also playable. He's only 5.3. I know he had that phenomenal game 2-3 games ago, but he's not bad. So real high on the Grizzlies here. I will have Grizzlies exposure. I think they're a smart place to go, and it doesn't have to be just with the super value guys. I think you can spread it around here a little bit with Jackson and Bane in the mix as well. On the Clippers side, what do we look at there? I mean, you've got usage monsters in Westbrook, George, and Leonard. So with those 3 in at 7.2, 8.8, and 9.2, I'm passing. I'm just not going to spend up for those 3 guys. I think they divvy it out between them. And I don't even care if Morris and Zubats play. They're not in play for me. I don't care if it's Gordon in there instead, or Batum, or Mann, or Mason Plumlee. Now, Mason Plumlee is the only guy that I would talk about here. If at 5.2, Zubats is ruled out and he's the starting center, then I think you can talk a little bit of Mason Plumlee. He'll get that mid-20s to even 30 minutes possibly if Zubats is out. Not a consideration if Zubats plays, and not a plug and play, even if he doesn't, but certainly the guy that I would consider on that side of the ball. So guess I'll have to find an old Grizzlies hat and hope that we can get there with those guys. All right. Let's see what we have here. Tillman should get 30 minutes. I agree with you. I really do. I really do. Josh Davis says Lopez Defensive Player of the Year. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Yes, David, good point. Triple J is probably going to slide down and play some 5 today, and he's not going to have to battle for the rebounds like he usually does. Steven Adams takes up the entire lane when he plays, and when they play, some of the other bigs, they grab some rebounds from him. That's another reason why I love Triple J today. I think you'll see an increase in those interior numbers. Again, we've got to keep the damn guy out of foul trouble. That's always a very, very key piece. All right. Questions. This would be the time to put them in there. And again, Dominique, great to have you join us. I love always having a new body in there. King of all trades, thanks for being so talkative in here. I love to get all that information going back and forth. And we're going to pick that third ticket, and then we're going to get on down the road so that we can get ready to get these lineups ready and checked out. So again, to have 50 plus is wonderful. Hit that like button if you haven't already. Like and subscribe. If you want that 1 week free membership, today's the last day to do that. All you have to do is go to Twitter at DFS Coach Talk, DM us, let us know that you want the March Madness free week, and we will get you set up for that. All right, the third and final ticket today. And again, thank you. That's our high water mark for the week as far as views. We really do appreciate it. The winner of the third ticket is Sean V. Sean V wins the third ticket. Congratulations, my friend. Great to have you in here, and great to have you winning a freebie. So I will look for those responses. Any PrizePicks plays? I'll tell you what, Crash, are you still in here? Do you have any PrizePicks plays? I can't play PrizePicks where I'm at, so I haven't given any look to that. I think, if you haven't checked out Underdog, that's another place to go where you can get some nice plays as well, and some action there. But I think what we'll do is if Crash is still in here, maybe post a freebie or 2 PrizePicks play here in chat. And then if you're a member, or if you want to become a free member for a week, you can get all Crash's picks in our Discord where they will be posted. So appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. I enjoy it. I know I don't do as many podcasts at all as like I used to, but when I do get in here, it's great to see such a great group. Great to chirp with you in here and get it ready for some takedowns. So love the slate tonight, by the way. I mean, it's probably a good 4.5 crown slate for me at least, especially with some of this other value news that opened up. And now that I can put Giannis in there and feel more comfortable about it, I think it's going to be time to eat for sure. So appreciate you, EBGS, Doug L, known as Doug W, all the folks in here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Love to have you as part of the family. Let's get some takedowns. Nice 6-game slate tomorrow. Crash will have the podcast, and we'll be posting lineups there. So thank you, everybody, again. Great to see everyone. Have a safe, happy, and fun Sunday, and absolutely take some contests down everywhere you're playing this evening. So thank you again, and we certainly will be back here tomorrow at DFS Coach Talk when we look to crush it in NBA DFS.